Get the show going.
ComX net, is it ComX net AU? Or,
Are you ready for drinking? Drawing? What about laughing? Well, hold on to your crumpets. It's season 2 of the ComX Friday Night Drink and Draw, with your hosts Sizzle and Spedsy, and the man they call Quick, plus Australia's most attractive artists and creators, many of whom have books for sale at comx.shop. Alright Dave, you can start drawing.
Yeah, if you can make sense of it, good luck. Welcome to ComX's Friday Night Drink and Draw. We are here with Daniel Best today, and we are drawing Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider!
Yes, and drawing Ghost Rider tonight will be myself and Quick Nick. Hey, man.
I'm also myself. Hello.
Oh, only on the outside. Alex Major.
I'll also be drawing Ghost Rider.
Sweet. Welcome to the show, David Wargo.
Yes.
Hopefully I said your name right. Should have asked
that's
before the show.
That's right.
Kayleen. Hello.
Hello, Kelly.
Nick May, is it? Welcome.
Close enough.
How do you pronounce that?
It's German.
Lee Walker in the house. I took my flanny off because didn't want to match too much.
Oh, that's all right, mate.
Dave Dye, hello, sir.
G'day.
And our special guest this evening, of course, Daniel Best. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Oh, sorry about my voice.
Now, before we get started, guys, we've had a request from the people at home that we play Australia's most loved game show, Roids. Now, everyone, you're familiar with the game show Roids, aren't you? We've done it on the show 0 times. Now, Quick, you're our first up to play Roids. So, let me tell you the game. It's basically steroids, asteroids, or hemorrhoids.
Steroids, asteroids, or hemorrhoids. I can do this.
3 scenarios, 3 possible options. Which are you going to pick? Let's have a look.
Okay.
All right. So, are you ready to play Roids?
Steroids.
Hemorrhoids.
Okay,
Asteroid?
so Quick.
Yeah.
Picture, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
You're dead tired, mate. You're dead tired. You've worked a 10-hour day already, and the boss asks you to work 5 hours overtime. Which do you choose? Steroids, asteroids, or hemorrhoids?
Hemorrhoids.
Sorry, boss. Hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids.
Ooh, okay. Hemorrhoids.
Asteroid hit the boss?
Well, he didn't pick asteroids, so we don't know. But let's check the scoreboard. Hemorrhoids. You're in horrible pain. Your boss notices that, and he lets you go home early.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And that's how we play round 1 of Roid.
All right.
So that's 1 point. Next up, Alex Major.
Yes.
Welcome to
Hello.
Roid. Are you ready to play?
I am ready. Bring it on.
Now, Alex, you've just gotten home from work, mate. You've just sat down in front of the TV, but then air raid sirens go off. There's an alien invasion. And the country turns to you. The whole world turns to you.
Oh, definitely hemorrhoids.
Oh, no. Steroids, asteroids, or hemorrhoids?
Definitely hemorrhoids. Easy one.
Okay, let's check the scoreboard. Hemorrhoids. Now, you are in so much pain during the alien invasion that you are unable to fight, and
cool.
you are quickly killed. So, Alex, 0 points. Thank you for playing Roids.
What if
Good luck.
I'm faking these hemorrhoids just to get out of this responsibility?
Fake hemorrhoids wasn't a choice, and you chose real hemorrhoids. David, would you like to play a quick game of Roids?
Sure.
Okay, sir. So, imagine, if you will, it's the alien invasion, because we don't leave a round until we've completed it. Alien ships are quickly approaching, and the whole world turns to you. Do you choose asteroids, steroids, or hemorrhoids?
I guess I'll have to go with steroids.
Ooh, interesting choice. So you've chosen steroids. Congratulations. Your arms become massive. You look awesome. Your balls,
Okay.
however, shrink so small that they enter your own bloodstream, travel through your veins into your heart, and give you a heart attack, and you die. And
Oh,
the
not
rest of
again.
Thank you for playing Roids. Better luck next time. Kayleen, welcome to Roids. There is an alien invasion. The whole world turns to you. Do you choose asteroids, steroids, or hemorrhoids?
I'm gonna go with asteroids.
Good choice. So you summon a barrage of asteroids. On their way to Earth, those asteroids hit the alien ships, destroying their armada. You not only destroyed the asteroids themselves, but the alien armada. You saved the day. Congratulations. 1 point to Kayleen. Thank you for playing Roids. You and Nick go into our final round on episode 100. Now, for our final round, Nick May, step forward. Would you like to play a round of Roids?
I'm out. No, of course I would. I'd love to.
Okay, now just a refresher. Your options are steroids, asteroids, or hemorrhoids. Let the game commence. So, Dolph Lundgren has been talking smack about drink and draw. And he's come over to Sizzle's house. He wants to do something about it.
Oh,
He's
my
looking
God,
to end the show. And only you have the power to stop him. Do you choose asteroids, steroids, or hemorrhoids?
Oh, I obviously choose steroids.
All right, so you choose steroids. Your arms get so massive. You look awesome. Your balls start shrinking, but you have the wherewithal to fight Dolph Lundgren before your balls shrink so much that they enter your own bloodstream. You defeat Dolph Lundgren. You die in the process, but not only are you a winner, you're also a martyr. We put you on a pedestal. Congratulations. You just won Roids. Sorry to leave Daniel for not being up this week's edition of Roids. Your opportunity will surely arise in the future. People at home, hashtag drink and draw Roids if you want to see this as an ongoing feature. In the meantime, Sizzle.
Well, what I'm going to do
Who are we drawing
is
this week?
Sorry, what was that?
I was going to say who are we drawing, but please, you go.
Oh yeah, we're drawing Ghost Rider this week, but what I'll do is I have 2 late submissions to Doctor Doom last week, so we'll show them at the beginning of this show. So I'll bring them up after our little Roid game. So we've got Tony Menzies drew this Doctor Doom.
Tony.
Oh, nice.
Nice work, Tony.
Nice colours, Tony. That's awesome.
Yeah. And another late submission was Ryan Vella.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, right. Awesome.
Great work.
Lobby's
There you go. So yeah, this week is Ghost Rider. So yeah.
Yeah, so Sis, tell us a little something. Give us your history.
I know he's the spirit of vengeance. That's about all I know. His flesh is made of fire. I think that's how it works.
Hey, Nikki.
Yeah.
There's a few versions of him. There's a weird one that drives a car. I don't know what that's
Robbie
all about.
Reyes.
I wasn't reading at the time, so I don't know what that's all about.
Let's go straight.
Yeah, exactly. His flesh is fire. It's good for the marshmallows.
Yeah, what did you say his body is made out of?
Fire? Is it some sort of psychic fire or something?
Because this is a big
Hellfire,
part
that's it.
of my drawing this week. Is I'm not totally sure. Like, I'm a huge Ghost Rider fan. Loved
Obviously.
him particularly when I was younger. But I've never really known what's going on underneath the leather. Is he a full skeleton on fire? So no cartilage. No, he's held together by fire.
No, just a skeleton with hellfire, which pads out the costume of it.
I'm gonna have to redraw. I'm gonna have to redraw everything because I drew a naked Ghost Rider and he does not. He is not. I gave him some. Anyway.
Both Davids are setting up in a way where we can only see them draw. David.
David and Dave. Nice.
I thought it was about time, yeah.
David and David. Sounds like a name of a band. But...
David and David.
We're an 80s sitcom.
That's about all I know of Ghost Rider. He rides a motorbike, at least the version I know does. He used to ride a horse. I vaguely remember that from when I was a kid.
Hey, good on him, mate. Must have a bit of style, that bloke.
That was Ghost Jockey.
But that's about all I know of Ghost Rider, sorry to say.
Now, Dave, Ghost Rider's horse was on fire. Does that fit with you?
I'll ring the RSPCA right away.
What about you, Quick? What's your history with Ghost Rider, if any?
It's really limited. I know Nicolas Cage stepped in, and we all pretended it was. We didn't pretend it was horrible. We all made him know it, but somehow he got a sequel up. So
props what props deserved.
Yeah, I guess someone was watching.
Fun fact: I got to go see the filming of Ghost Rider 1. They filmed in the city here in Melbourne, and I had a gig that night just up the road, and then we saw a street blocked off, and I had gone to like a directed talk thing with the director Mark Steven Johnson, and so I knew what he looked like, and so randomly he was walking by on the street, and I said, "Mark," and he turned around like, "Hey man," and I was like, "No, I'm just a fan." Yeah, and that's how I got my starring role as Robbie Reyes.
Did you get to meet Tula? Was it Tula from Fat Pizza, wasn't it?
Trevor Wilson had a very small role.
I only know
Ghost
her.
Rider did drive his bike up the side of a building. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That movie proved that Ghost Rider was definitely from hell because he submerged himself into the Yarra and came out alive. Like, only the devil could do that.
And Jim
No one goes into the Yarra and comes out breathing. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Not bad, Daniel. Is that one you've used before? Is that
No, that one I've just come up with.
I like it.
Thank you. You're welcome to it. It was an atrocious movie, that. And the sequel was even worse.
I didn't see the sequel. I remember thinking in the first one, just sitting through it like, oh boy. And then at the end, I'm going to spoil it. I don't care.
Spoiler alert for anybody.
He tries to use his penance stare, which is a great power, on the bad guy, but he hasn't got a soul, so it doesn't work. And then at the very end, the bad guy has consumed a bunch of souls to be an evil dude or something. And then he uses it, and all the souls get the penance stare treatment, and they all die. And he dies, or whatever. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I didn't see that coming. It was quite clever writing, so I took my hat off just once during that movie, and that was it.
And then you put your hat back on 5 minutes later?
Yeah.
Yep, spitting image.
We went and saw it at the cinema, and I convinced my wife and my kid, we should go and have a look at it. Huge Ghost Rider fan growing up. And as we're coming out, my wife said, "Why did we waste money on that crap?" So why did you read that? What you read that when you were a kid? You bought the comic. Trust me, the comic books were a lot better than that. Oh, it was horrible.
So you guys still together?
Sorry?
You guys still together, you and your wife?
Yeah, he's still
together.
The movie wasn't that bad.
After this movie, sounded like a traumatic.
Yeah, trust me, she's made me watch some absolute dire material, but not as much as what I forced upon her. I insisted we go and see 300. And my God, with their laughters of that night, Sparta. And she kept saying, "How come this guy's supposed to be Greek and he keeps lapsing into a Scottish accent?"
That was the thing, though. You're a historian. You can answer that.
Well, my answer was because there were no accents back then. So how do we know that the Greek in Sparta didn't actually speak with Australian and Scottish accents and a German accent when what's his name turns up, and all these other accents. It could have been multicultural. We don't know.
Yeah, true.
Oh, that in fact was a Frank Miller movie. We drew the line at seeing The Spirit. We didn't go and see that one. I went watched that in a hotel room while I woke up early one day and just put it on. I think I got halfway through it. And oh God, Frank Miller, you've really done something bad to Will Eisner here. Really, you have. You've torn. There's a word for what he did to Will, and it's not a nice word. But that was one of the. I always say to people, one of the worst movies that you could ever watch for the whole costume / superhero genre is Frank Miller's The Spirit. It makes that Dolph Lundgren Punisher look like Gone with the Wind.
I've got fond memories of that Punisher movie, Daniel.
I don't know if I've told you this one, Lee. The Punisher movie, the Dolph Lundgren one, has one of the best endings ever because he comes out of the sewers and he's walking down a New York street and he's saying in the voiceover, all of these criminals, something like, all these criminals, I'm going to go out and I'm going to punish them. And he walks past a Commonwealth Bank and a CES. Because they filmed it in Brisbane.
I'm going back to rewatch that now. I never noticed that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch it now as well.
He's in New York and he's walking past all of these CESs.
But Dolph Lundgren went to university in Australia. He went, I think, to Sydney University.
He did. He went a bouncer in King's Cross.
Oh, wow.
Gary Challoner's got a close association with The Spirit, Daniel, as you know.
I know that. Many a time we've spoken about The Spirit. And yes, which I'm sure, I don't know, Gaz has never told me if he's ever watched the movie. I'd like to hope he never will, because if you're listening, Gary, don't watch the movie. It'll only make you cry.
Hey, JK.
Awful film.
Now, we shouldn't be praising Dolph Lundgren too much, guys, because you might remember during Royds that he has been talking smack about the show.
Yeah,
and I killed him.
But he was also, he was, to me, he'll always be He-Man, though. Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren.
He was in the He-Man. He was He-Man, wasn't he? Wasn't he He-Man?
Yeah, he was He-Man, yeah.
Okay.
Right. No. The best Ghost Rider artists for me were these.
Yeah, I'll just bring you up.
Who's that, Dan?
That's
Oh, do some inspiration.
Yeah.
Can't hear you, mate.
He's a really good mate of mine, and Dave was a very, very good friend of mine. He's now deceased. They did a run on Ghost Rider, which was nothing short of amazing. It was stellar.
Dave who?
Simons. He was the inker. And something like about 12 issues is what they did all up. And it's just the best Ghost Rider you'll ever read. And that was my Ghost Rider. So, of course, when I went and saw the movie, oh, dearie me, you're so far away. It's beyond it. But Bob Budiansky, he did some amazing stuff on it. So when Bob started doing commissions about 20 odd years ago, I said, I know what I want. That cover art there, which is the cover to a famous issue called Freaks. Oh, yeah. And Bob penciled it and sent it off to Dave, who inked it. Dave was the original inker, and ended up here. Since then, I've lost track of how many people have asked to buy it off me, but the answer is always no.
Price position.
Yeah, I'll wait until the day when I'm run out of tin baked beans, and then I'll have to sell it. Until then, no, it's definitely mine. So.
Now you find out spam's no good for you, Daniel. You're stuffed, mate. You know,
Well,
once you get baked beans, you're onto that spam shit.
What's wrong with spam, mate?
Oh, come on, man. My God, they had a news report the other day saying it was bad for your health. I don't know if they needed that.
I used to come out
Slow news day.
The girl was a vegetarian and she'd eat hot dogs. And I'd say to her, why are you eating hot dogs if you're a vegetarian? And she'd go, there's no meat in it. Timothy Butt. Toenails, hair, band-aids.
Yeah, well, they call sausages lips and assholes, don't they? Because that's the last of the pieces are just thrown in this sausage thing. Anyway.
Alex, tell us a little something about Ghost Rider from your perspective. What do you know?
From my perspective, well, my third favorite character from Fat Pizza's in it. So,
did you have any knowledge of Ghost Rider before the movies?
All I remember was that Nick. I saw a thing in Wizard magazine. If anybody remembers that,
I remember Wizard.
Yeah. So I remember there was something about Nicolas Cage desperately wanting to be Superman, and I think Ghost Rider was his like he'll just be took it because he was like a big comic book fan. So I think that was like his second or third choice comic book thing to do. So I think I read some gossip around that in Wizard magazine. So, but I never really read the comic or watched the movie. I just watched the trailer of the movie and I was like, oh, I think I saw everything I need to. And I just moved on with my life.
You know where Nicolas Cage got his name from, don't you?
Sorry?
You know where Nicolas Cage got his name from?
All I know was that he was trying to hide his Coppola thing, that he was in Coppola's in the Coppola family.
He picked the last name from Luke Cage.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's how much of a comic book fan he is. He picked the last name Cage because he loved reading Power Man and Iron Fist.
Mm.
So we could have called him.
And he owned Superman's first appearance for a long time, didn't he? Until he went fucking near bankrupt and sold that up.
Yeah, he had a really high grade Action Comics 1, but yeah, he had to flog that off. Silly man. He had a really good comic book collection there for a while. Most of it got stolen, and the rest he.
Wait, what is he doing with that hand? The PG show, quick.
He just said riding the ham.
Riding the spam.
You're riding it, all right.
Avert your eyes.
What about you, David? Do you have much experience, history with Ghost Rider?
Myself? No. Nothing that hasn't already been discussed. The Nicolas Cage movies, I can't believe they did a sequel.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's a shocker.
People like Daniel who paid money to watch it with his family, so they were like 6 tickets sold.
Didn't go to the sequel. Didn't go to the second one.
Well, there wasn't the third one. You went to the first one, bought the ticket, they met the quota, and then they did the sequel. And then they said, we're not making this a trilogy because Daniel didn't take his family.
Oh, look, I've seen some bad movies in my time, I've got to admit. And I've paid good money to see bad. I went and saw The Avengers with Uma Thurman and Ray Fiennes, yeah.
Oh,
and it was
awesome movie.
It's funny because everyone got up and left during the movie, and there was just myself and the girl I went with at the end, and we were just laughing our heads off because we're not going to leave. We want to be the last ones out. And the cinema was half full. The cinema was half full, and people were just walking out. God, this is, we're thinking, this is great. It's so bad. And then I found out years later that Sean Connery turned down being Gandalf in Lord of the Rings to be in it.
No way.
So he sacked his manager and retired from cinema.
Thank God he did.
Thou shall did pass on being in that movie, obviously.
You shall not pass.
Yeah. I'm not sure I like that now you said it that way. Hey?
Someone else to lock out on
here. What about you, Kayleen? Are you familiar with Ghost Rider?
No.
Not
No,
even.
I knew less about Ghost Rider than I did about Hellboy. At least I could picture Hellboy in my head. I'm like, oh, it's that big guy with red horny stubs things. And yeah, when you were like, it's Ghost Rider now, I'm like,
hey, we haven't drawn Hellboy.
So have you got your Ghost Rider on a horse or on a bike, or is he just walking around?
No, he's standing up and he's like whipping a chain around.
Oh, nice.
That's gonna be fun.
I know she doesn't know who she's drawing, but she's low key going to have the best one out of all of us.
Nick's going to have the best thing, though, so.
Take us back under your stairwell. How many Ghost Rider comics would we find in there?
A lot. I do remember reading the ones where he used to be a stunt rider, and he was Johnny Blaze. But then, was it in the 90s? Was it in the late 80s where he was revived as Danny Ketch, and that's where all the chains were? Yeah. I do remember going to see the movie Ghost Rider, and somebody can remind me, was it in the first one or was it in the second one where he had a Wii and it was like flaming fuel?
That was the second one, I think, actually, man.
And then probably my favorite, and it's probably going to hurt me and break up my family, but my little brother Dan gave me Ghost Rider 2 on DVD whenever it came out. And Dan, I'm really sorry, but it's still in the plastic.
You're going to say that you took it to cash converters.
No. Yeah, no, I've got to keep it, Alex.
Oh, you're not that rough, mate.
I don't think Dan likes you, Nick.
I'm obviously maybe on the outer. I think the first Ghost Rider had Sam Elliott in it, right? And I believe, and Sam Elliott makes every movie good. So you can all say that it's a terrible movie, but it's got Sam Elliott in it, so it's got to be in the top Infinity movies of all time.
It also had Peter Fonda in it, and he looked like every time he spoke, I thought, geez, he's really found a good cocaine connection here in Melbourne. That's for sure.
And it had that guy out of American Beauty, didn't it? And he had a really nicely shaped beard.
Oh no, I don't remember him.
Don't we all? Yeah, he's in that Yellowstone man. Is that the dude you're talking about?
Quite possibly, Lee. Quite possibly.
Oh, nice. Someone's got
You're such a nerd, Rob.
That's the 90s Ghost Rider, Rob. That's not my Ghost Rider.
Just a few.
While Rob's showing off, Lee, why don't you tell us about Ghost Rider?
Yeah.
Sure. 1982, in Canberra on a family holiday. Was at my aunt's house. She had two twins and an older son. They'd been babysitting me for the day. They hated me because they were like 10 years older than me, and that's just how it is at that age. So they finally, parents and everyone came home. They took off. I was annoying parents, and then Uncle Phil walked out with a big bundle of comic books and threw them on the couch and said, read them. And they were the 70s Ghost Rider with Mike Plug artwork. And I remember I was pretty quiet after that. I managed to pocket a couple of them because back in the day, comic books were, next to toilets. They were on fucking news, like hamburger stands, all that, like shit. And took some back to Townsville, sucked them up, traced over them and that. Then just sort of disappeared for a bit, went off into Spider-Man, X-Men and that. And then my nan, who was my dad's mum, obviously, came up to Townsville on a holiday, and she wanted to buy me something. And I saw Dan Ketch's The Rebirth of Ghost Rider at the newsagents, and it was $3.25 because it's crayoned onto the cover. And my nan argued with me for quite some time about having to pay $3.25 for a Ghost Rider comic book back in 1989-90. And I won her over, and, you know, through a lot of pestering and annoyance, and she got it for me. And that was it for me. And I've pretty much, I went on a big run. I think I got every issue from memory, from issue 1 through, I think it was 97 or something like that. They finally pulled the plug, and then I got into Spirits of Vengeance, and which was fucking mind-blowing because that had the Cubit brothers doing artwork, and it was Johnny Blaze came into it, and like, man, it was like Midnight Suns, and it was excellent. So that's I'm quite keen on him.
Now, Lee, what is it you think you like about him so much?
Well, he's fucking cool looking for a kid when you see him. Like, you can't take that away. He's a good damn design, man. You know, I just liked, I guess, at first appearance, like from the little boy, he's a cool design. But as I got into the second series, you sort of realised that this blazing skull on a motorbike has a lot more depth than you know, the initial imagery that's presented. So I really enjoyed the family, the tie-ins, the twists, and all that at that point. So, you know, that was yeah. It's still, I still flick through them now, man. You know, thinking about them and stuff. And I've got those. Remember those black and white Marvel prints, that like big trade paperbacks they used to bring out? What were they called? The Essentials and stuff. Like, yeah, went back and bought a big Ghost Rider Essentials, and I love them, man.
There's Dracula Essentials.
Those books, man. Yeah. Yeah. So no, long love.
Did you identify with the Ghost Rider, considering that, you know, both? No, he's got more hair than you because he's got the flames, hasn't he? Not that I can see.
Oh, there we are.
Mr. Dye, would you rather a flaming motorcycle, a flaming Mustang, or a flaming horse?
Mustang as in car? No.
I think it was a Charger. Sorry, a Charger.
Steroid. Flaming Charger. You'd rather a steroid, a hemorrhoid, or an asteroid?
Yeah,
as a motor,
I'll go to the Charger.
So the lady says, "Hey, can you run down the shops and grab some milk?" And there's 3 vehicles to choose from: the flaming bike, Charger, and horse. You take the Charger.
Yeah.
Also, your head's on fire.
I got a quick question for you. Can you tell me what's Rob's impersonation like? He just impersonated your wife. Was it accurate, or out of 10? How close was it?
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close.
Awesome.
Nice one, Rob.
Also, the milk would have spoiled by the time you got home. The car runs way too hot. Now, Mr. Best, you chose Ghost Rider. Tell us why.
Why? Good question. I love the character. I've always loved the character, and I thought, yeah, I had a couple of ideas going through my head of what I could pick, and I ran a few, and I'm thinking, oh God, and then Sizzle said, well, you know, either shit or get off the pot, like pick something for Christ's sake. Those ideas take a fall. I went, oh bloody hell, okay, Ghost Rider. Just I mean, look, the whole imagery of it when I was a kid was just amazing, because it was the 70s and 80s, early 80s Ghost Rider. I mean, the motorbike wasn't a real motorbike. It was a motorbike he created out of hellfire. So it was a flaming bike from hell, as opposed to the motorbike that he had in the 90s, which was a normal motorbike that had wheels that had flames on it. This was a proper flaming thing. The fact that also he, you know, in one issue of the Avengers, he took them down. And talking Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and he took them all down, ripped them apart.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was thinking that character was just so underdone, up until the point where, as I said, you know, my friends Bob and Dave went onto it and just really, really ramped it up to new levels of greatness. Their first issue, which was written by J.M. DeMatteis, had Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze doing a confession in a church. And the priest is listening to this confession, and he's telling all these bad things he's done, and how he sold his soul to the devil, and you know, he has this demon inside of him. And it comes out that the priest was a thief who had killed the real priest and left him dying. And as this guy is in his confession box thinking, oh, you know, why am I listening to this idiot for? Johnny Blaze says, you know, I found a priest on the side of the road down just shortly, and he died while I was holding on to him, but he told me what happened. And then I knew what I had to do. And you see these flaming skeletal hands coming through the confession box as he's going for this priest, and he just rips the church to pieces to get this guy. And I thought, Mike, I've not read at that point anything as horrific in a Marvel comic as that. It was stunning. And gradually over their run, Johnny Blaze was losing his identity, and the Ghost Rider was coming to the fore, and they fleshed it out, gave it a name. It just wasn't a thing. It was a proper character. I loved it, and it's always stuck with me. So I thought, yeah, why not Ghost Rider? And then I see everyone's drawing the one that I wasn't really fond of. So yeah, I should have just stuck with Judge Dredd and shut the bob.
While we've got Daniel talking, we may as well dip into a little bit of the thing.
Now it's the part of the show where we shine a big shiny spotlight on one of our creator friends. This week, we welcome
Name
and talk about their creative journey. Please, everybody, make some noise for
Name.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, of course. And your best guest. Those words rhyme. In case you, So, Daniel, tell us what I want to know. First up, what is the state of Australian comics like at the moment from your POV?
It could be better. It's getting better, but it could be better. I think there's too much of a reliance upon like the Kickstarters and that sort of thing. There's just too many comic shops that aren't carrying the stock for a thing. For example, here in Adelaide, there's really only one shop that carries anything Australian produced, and that's it. We're in Hobart.
Who is it?
No, I'm not going to name it because then the other two guys will come after and beat the crap out of me.
Well, I want to know who to send me comics to.
Well, you can get a private message, Dave.
I'll tell you what. Send your comics to all three, and then the two that send it back, you'll know which one to send it to.
They won't send it back.
Maybe it's like, if you give like free press to the one that does Aussie comics, maybe it'll encourage the other two shops to get in on it as well, and then start selling.
I don't think it would, because I've tried this before, and I've been given so many excuses as to why people don't do it. But it's not just here. We were in Hobart last year, and we thought, okay, well, why are we here? Because I do this say to my wife, I'm going to go around and see what local stuff I can buy, so I can then take it home and do what I do with it, which is the website that Gary and myself run. And we went to 3 shops, and not one of them had an Australian comic in them. Not one. So, everyone seems to be going online. That's good. I love the online stuff. I love being able to click, boom, boom, boom. I also love being able to go into a shop when I'm interstate and go, okay, well, here's a whole pile of stuff I've not seen. I'll buy it. But it's just not happening. I mean, and again, last time we were in Tasmania, I bought a whole pile of bits and pieces, but they were all in second-hand bookshops and op shops and things like that. And it was stuff that people had and they'd throw it out, and stuff from the 80s and that. And it was the same within Melbourne, picked up all this stuff that people had bought, and obviously whatever the mother or whatever, they get married and the girlfriend says, you're not reading those funny books anymore, bin them. And that's that. So I think what people have to do as an industry is not be so reliant upon the Kickstarters for a start, and start really putting it to shops that, you know, stock my material, get it in there. And when they say, no, we don't carry it, go, why not? What are the excuses? And I had this in Hobart, one of the shops in Hobart, and I've had this in one of the shops here. And I'm not going to name the Hobart shops either, or the Tasmania ones, was we don't stock it because nobody buys it. And yeah, okay, chicken and egg. I can't buy it if you don't stock it. Yeah, but nobody buys it, so we don't stock it. I think, oh, this is like the young ones. You know, I want to buy your crap, but you don't put it in the shops. I mean, I love paper cuts.
Yeah.
Last paper cuts I went to, which was last year, I went around. I mean, I couldn't even walk. I had to go out and sit on the side of the road, wait for my wife to pick me up because I was that falling down. So everyone, yeah, I'll have. What have you got? I've got these 4 that I put out. Great, I'll have all 4. Bang. What have you got? Yep, got that one. Have the rest. Bang, bang, and just, you know, piles of stuff. And I'll do that at, you know, if anyone goes to the Supernovas or anything. And that's the other thing. Nobody goes to those things anymore because they price themselves out of the markets, and they're not about comic books. But when I see people just going, oh, it's only on Kickstarter or it's only online, go, okay, well, I'd like to get it, and this is the reason why. Oh, yeah, we don't stock. I don't make them anymore. Okay, are you going to put them in the shop down here? No. Great, terrific, thank you. So then, you know, I'll contact other shops around the country, and I hear the same things. We don't carry them. You know, I want the Reverie stuff. I want the stuff that you guys publish. I want Detective Budgie. I want all of this really good stuff. Yes, I want all of this really good stuff, and yet I can't find it anywhere, and it's frustrating.
Yeah.
So yeah, although it's getting better, because it certainly there's just as much going around now as what there was in the early 2000s and late 90s, because it dropped off a bit there in the 2000s, and it's come back up. You can't find it anywhere physically. You can't get your hands on it. And in order for your product to survive, you've got to be able to put it out into a shop front. And that means badgering the shops. They're comic shops. They're a specialty shop. They're not just an American comic book shop. And if they are, good luck to them, power to them. I won't shop there because I don't read the American comic books anymore. A, they're too expensive. B, they're crap. I don't relate to them. Sorry?
Not even Ghost Rider? You said you don't read American books, but not even Ghost Rider? Do you make an exception for it?
No. I can't remember, in all seriousness, I can't remember the last American comic book I bought. I really can't. Because I just gave up after a while. I thought, geez, it's just crossover events, multi crossover events. And it was, you know, or someone would come onto the X-Men and just do the same stories as what bloody Roy Thomas and Neil Adams did, Chris Claremont and John Byrne did. The same story arcs that go on. Oh, let's get the X-Men. We'll put them in the Savage Land, and then we'll put them in space, and then they'll fight each other. And then Dark Phoenix will happen. Oh, great. Thank you very much. You know, Spider-Man was the same. Let's get Spider-Man and beat the hell out of him. The only decent Spider-Man comic I've seen in the last 20 years, is the one that Ryan Vella did. The little mini comic that Ryan Vella did is the best Spider-Man comic I've seen in 20 years. Loved it. It was
Spider-Man. Yeah, that's not, you know, that's anything Ryan Vella does is worth reading. So yeah. Just a little plug for everybody. Lee, how can people find Ryan Vella's work?
Contact Ryan Vella for a lot of it. Whatever prints he's got left. Have a look in the ComX shop, mate. That's linked to this show and everything. He's in a couple of those comic books there, short stories, does some stuff with me and Spedsy. Get into him. He's well worth a look, and it is a good Spider-Man comic. It's it's very Vella unique, I would say, and thumbs up to him.
Using Ryan as an example.
So, Daniel,
No.
I was just want to talk about you. So you released a book maybe 2 or 3 months ago. That was the the dude who tell us about the book that you just released recently, the murder type.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's called Monster, and the subtitle says everything. Len Lawson, rapist, murderer, comic book artist. Yeah, Lee's holding it up.
Yep.
And I mean, I was shopping that around to pretty much every publisher in Australia, and everyone said, no, it's just a bit too full on to publish. Could I tone it down? And no, I don't think I've got to tone it up. And then Gaz got on to me and said, look, you've been dallying around with this for about 5 years. Let's just put it out and publish it, which we did. It's the story of Len Lawson, and Len was a very popular comic book writer-artist of the 1940s, and going into the 1950s, he created a character called the Lone Avenger, and it was probably one of the most, if not but one of the most popular comic book characters in comic books of the late 1940s, early 1950s. Unfortunately, Len was he was a psychopath, and he took five young models. They ranged in age from 15 up to 23.
Strap in, viewers.
On a modelling shoot into French's Forest, and raped them, tied them up at gunpoint and raped them. And then he got caught, was sentenced to death, as was the sentence back then, but that was commuted. He was then let out of jail in 1961, and he did it again. He raped a 16-year-old girl and unfortunately killed her. There was a few other things that went on as well at that point, which were pretty nasty. I don't know what your audience is like. He then the next day took his little Beetle and drove out to Moss Vale to the SCES, the Sydney Catholic School, and took it hostage. Took the entire school hostage by gunpoint, and had the police had the secretary of the school bring up the police because he said he wanted to die because of what he'd done the night before. Fortunately, the headmistress of the school was not a person to be trifled with, so at the first opportunity, she actually jumped on him to wrestle the gun off his hands. Gun went off, killed another girl, shot the headmistress, although she survived. Police turned up, bashed the door in, bashed his head in, arrested him, and they threw him in jail, never to be released. And he died in prison, rightly so. He was a psychopath of the highest order. Not a nice person, but it's a story that needed to be told because over the years I'd heard that he was a serial killer, wasn't, and all these things that he did. And as I pointed out to a lot of people, that the things that have been said about him haven't entirely been true. But he was worse than being a serial killer. He was worse than being just a rapist. He was one of the most evil people I think I've ever encountered writing about. It was a hard book to write. I knew I was on a winner in a way because I told the story to some friends of ours. Right. And 3 days later, the wife of my friend sent me a message and she said, "You bastard." And I went, "What have I done this night?" And she said, "I have not slept for 3 nights because every time I try and sleep, all I can think of is what this guy did. And it's awful." I went, yeah. He died in prison. He should have been put down like a dog when he first raped the 5 women. But then he was raping women before that.
It's not cool.
To give you a hint of how bad he was, I mean, he was married, had kids. He took a job in a mortuary on weekends.
Yeah. Okay.
Primarily to study anatomy. And
yeah, okay.
There's some dots here that you can join. Yes, he would sort him out. So
let's talk about something. One of your upcoming projects you've been working on for a while. One that I'm looking forward to is the history of Cyclone. Where are we with that book? When can we expect it? I want it.
We're sitting at that book at the moment. It's written. The text is all done. We've got to get the introduction done, and that won't take long to do. And what we're waiting for is for Gary Challoner's schedule to open up, because he's doing the cover for it, and doing the layout and all that sort of stuff to make it perfect. So it's this one, unlike a lot of these books that you see where people write about different things. And I mean, I'm guilty of it. I did Len Lawson, where you have no connection with the person, you just write about them. This one's been written with the full involvement of what I call the big four, which is Gary, Len Lumsden, Dave DeVries, and Tad, and a whole pile of people that work with them.
Say Tad's last name.
Pearson. When he worked on radio, he called himself Tad Pearson.
Petrikovsky.
Tad. Did you get it? So yeah, it's sitting with Gary at the moment, and that's not a problem because we want it to be perfect. The next step we'll do, once Gaz has got his decks cleared of Adventure Illustrated, is we're going through all of the art, because the best part is we've got so much art to choose from that the hardest part is going to be what do we not pick, because if it was up to me, we'd just reprint everything. We can't. We'll pick the art out and then put the book together, and then it will be going. I'm hoping by the end of the year, I imagine.
So how did you go tackling the demise of Cyclone in consultation with the four top dogs without dredging up old wounds and whatever?
Look, I was completely honest with everyone. I said, this is what I'm going to do, and you know, when I write these things, I don't go in to write a puff piece. It's got to be warts and all, you know. And you know, everyone said, okay, fair call. I ran it by people to say, you know, what do you think? And I was asked, could I take a couple of bits out? And yep, no problems. You know, that's cool. And it wasn't so much that they were bad bits. It was just I don't remember it that way. And that's the thing, when you've got so many people in there, and in this case, four very, very strong-willed and very strong personality people, they remember it four different ways. And I'm sure that there was some bits that I dredged up by talking to people that I never realised it was like that. Yeah, well, you know, the other person, that's how they remembered it. Oh, that's not how I remember it. Okay, that's fine. That's how they do. So I've sort of what I've done is I've put in the version which is accepted. I've put in versions of what happened, how everyone remembers it. And literally I've got that, you know, that's not how I remember it. I remember this happening. Okay, that's fine. You know, and some of it is, and don't get me wrong, I love all four guys. I really do. Gaz is like a brother to me, as is Glenn and Dave as well, and Tad. With a lot of these things, when there's a breakup of a business or a breakup of a creative partnership, sometimes people don't communicate with each other at the time as to what they're feeling or thinking, because they're caught up in what they're doing, or they're caught up in their own emotions, or they're caught up in their own problems. And it's only years later down the track that someone will look at something and go, oh crap, did I do that? Oh man, that's horrible. And you go, yeah, that's what could have happened. Which one's Tad?
I think we all know.
Oh no, come on. No, Tad's lovely. But yeah, they all remember it differently. But that one, and it's also with that, I didn't want to focus on negative stuff. It's a celebration of Cyclone. What Cyclone did was amazing. And, you know, it became the story of Gary for a lot of reasons, because it was Gary's idea. Gary owns it. And Gary's still publishing his Cyclone. So it really is, Gary Challoner. The others all left and went their own way at various points, and so did Gaz. He left and went his own way as well, but he's always come back to it. He's the true believer of Cyclone. He's like the Cyclone Stan Lee, only with talent.
Well, I hope it sells 1 million copies, and then in 10 years' time, I'll look forward to being interviewed for the ComX book. It'll be an interesting tell-all of what went on behind the scenes.
Everyone's going, that bloody sizzle.
I'll be the villain.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Villain, can you? I believe we have some art that has come through. Some Ghost
We do
Riders
indeed.
stacking
We
up.
have from Dan May. He was a bit early because he had to go out. I'll just bring it up twice so everyone can see it.
Oh, right go.
Yeah, no.
Right,
I like that detached jaw. That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's rad.
Yeah.
And then we had Davo77, a regular to sending stuff in.
Yeah.
Everyone see that?
No. Oh, yeah. Good on you, Davo.
Nice work. Can you go down and up, Sis?
Oh, you can't see it. Sorry.
No. Whee! There we go. Nice. I was about to start lying and just say, "Oh, it looks good," but I was like, I actually want to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And then
awesome.
we've got Spenzies.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I couldn't work out what's going on underneath the costume.
Here's the bloke on the right.
Is that David?
That's what I reckon's going on underneath the leather. I don't believe that it's a skeleton. I believe that he's a crusty dude with a skull mask.
Very realistic, Rob.
G-string.
G-string, nice.
I didn't take reference photos at all.
At all. Then we got Nick May sent one in. Well, he's here. He's sent one over to me.
Oh, he can't eat an ice cream.
Oh, poor guy. I'll never get to look at.
Not the sneakers.
Front tooth thing. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And them jaws.
Now he doesn't have a tongue, Nick. So is that he's
A
forever?
tongue of flame, Rob.
Tongue of flame, yes.
Hello. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm just going to look for something.
Well done.
I want to show you guys. If you could talk amongst yourself, Sis, for a sec.
Well done, Chernobyl, once again.
Cheers, Dave.
I've got a little
Cool.
inspired. Here we go.
Well, sorry.
Let me just jump in. Hey, Daniel Best, let's give us an ice cream.
I'm an ice cream.
That's quicker than that. Love it.
My wife's watching this and she's pissing herself off.
Well, I can bring in my piece of crap early. I finished it.
Being a bit harsh on yourself, mate.
After looking at all this,
you need to tell him off for that.
After seeing everything that's come up so far, that's the only way to describe it.
Oh, there you go, mate.
That's still better than I can draw.
Very good, mate.
There's mine for the night.
Yep.
It's running on saw blades.
Motorbikes are pretty hard,
I
mate.
tried to do flames, but it didn't quite work.
It's a circular saw.
Yeah.
Now, Sis, I used to talk down my drawings until Dave Dye told me off for that. So consider this I'm going to pass on that wisdom.
Yeah.
Stop underselling your work. It's really cool.
Yep.
Speaking of Dave Dye, where are you up to?
Oh,
better music.
good on you. Yeah.
I like it.
That's a really cool thing.
I like that.
He's supposed to have flames for a front wheel too, and they're coming out the back, isn't he?
At the back.
Maybe we could do it coming out here.
I love that clean skull. That's really cool.
Yeah, I haven't actually. I was looking at photographs of the covers and that for Ghost Rider this afternoon, and but I haven't got any reference with me, so I'm running off memory at the moment.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't remember certain things, and I've missed certain things. But I'm just trying to get
Pretty
a
good,
bit of
Dave.
Oh, that's a good summary. Look at that. That's right.
this crime going here.
What are you using at the moment? What's that?
This is watercolor.
Yeah.
I was just gonna, while you had the camera on me, I was gonna show you. Look at this. This is my reference. Young Dave with hair, and on me Harley Davidson Sportster. And here's my. I'm not on this one. This is my bike.
Hey, look at that.
WLA.
Wow.
Is that an Indian?
No, it's a WLA 1942
Lovely.
bike. That was mine. But this is my first bike I ever had. Was a Yamaha SR 250.
Picture
I had
More like a Yamaha.
Yeah.
I had about I had a Katana, Suzuki Katana, and a Honda 4 as well, 750. So I had a few bikes in the time.
Dave's hardcore.
Don't mess. He's bad.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to show you also. Here,
Go
Osbike. I submitted some cartoons. One of my cartoons published in Osbike. That's that cartoon there. I did that one. That's in issue 69. Here we got. Here's a cartoon up here.
Hello.
I put in for you. That one up here.
Going down.
That one's Osbike number.
Careful, careful.
42.
Okay, hang on. We're going to get letters, Dave.
Whoa.
We're going to get letters.
Oh, man.
What
actually-
off the tube?
There's no nipples or nothing in this. This is bloody all above board.
He actually buys them for the articles.
There's my up here.
Yeah.
That's another one, and there's one. And, there's two on this page.
Do what? Ripple.
And that's Osbike number. See the number on that one. Number 44, which is 1986. 88. There you go.
Okay.
Well, you know, I was mixing with a bunch of prudes.
No,
I
you
did,
Sizzle,
I
I
did
wish
some cartoons in Hustler magazine. You guys want to see? There's like a big centerfold
Sizzle,
of
I
those,
wish you told me to bring porn to this.
Can I know I just talked about not hanging crap on your own artwork, but can I show you guys something? Now it's Ghost Rider related, but I want the there's no nipples. I want the comic book people in the room, superhero fanatics, to take a look at Daredevil and see if you can spot two things that are wrong with this piece that I drew over 10 years ago. So it's obviously Ghost Rider and Daredevil. Now, what's wrong with Daredevil?
Yeah. Well,
Two things that I got.
Oh,
Two
he's
things that are wrong
fearing.
character-wise.
He's fear. He's showing fear.
A man without fear is scared. So, and then what else is he doing that's wrong?
He's looking
He's
at
going
something.
against health and safety, mate.
He's looking down, which he can't look. He's blind, and he's scared. He's the man without fear. I totally botched that drawing from start to finish. But there you go.
Oh, well.
Man without underwear is a man without fear.
One of Arnold Schwarzenegger's greatest movies, Commando. Let off Dean Bennett.
I let him go.
Yeah. Remember when I said I'd kill you last? I lied.
Oh, my pants. Commando. Anyway, moving on. Whatever joke.
David Largo,
Yeah.
let's have a quick chat to you, sir, as a first time on the show. give us, tell us a little something about yourself, what you do, where you come from, what's your deal?
Okay, well, I'm based in Sydney, Australia. By day, I'm a a data analyst, and a husband and a father to 3 girls. I've been drawing since I was 8 years old.
Yeah, awesome.
But never really managed to do it professionally. Sorry, I'm just hearing the music and it's kind of throwing me.
You're taking us on a journey, man. Every journey needs to get on track.
Yeah. So I've always been passionate about drawing. After high school, I read Lord of the Rings, and I have been in love with fantasy ever since. For a while there, I wanted to be a writer, actually, which is where my comic book stories are coming from. But I've always wanted to draw, so I just put one and one together, and I've decided I wanted to become a graphic novelist. So I'm working on a graphic novel right now. It's taking a very long time, but it's a learning process, and one day I hope to have something published. That's about it, really. Spoke to Sizzle start of this year. He reached out to me, and it's sort of been going on from there. I'm hoping to contribute to the Noir anthology later this year as well. Awesome. So I'm currently working on that, and that's about it.
Tell us a little something about your graphic novel. How many pages you're looking at, and what sort of genre are you tackling?
Yeah, well, it's the graphic novel's called Grimshard, and it's about a teenage boy who finds a cursed sword on his property and accidentally, unwittingly, awakens an age-old curse, binding himself to 8 other demons who are now trying to hunt him down. And he has to find a way to free himself from it. So it's still very much just a work in progress.
Yeah.
I think I'm only about 20 odd pages into it. I can't say for sure how many pages it is, but it's in the 3-figure area, so it could be a few years before I actually have something finished.
Good on you, mate.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they always say, David, you shouldn't start with a big story.
Yeah, I know. I cringe whenever I hear that, because typically I have this habit of starting with small stories, and they continue to snowball and explode and become bigger and bigger.
Yeah, well, good on you, mate. I reckon it'll be a ripper.
Thank you.
Are you watching your drawing improve as you draw panels and panels and panels, and you're getting faster and finding shortcuts and stuff?
Absolutely. I started drawing when the COVID lockdowns happened, so that's when I actually started. And after the first year, I found that the first page looked nothing like the latest one I just done, and so I had to go back and start all over again.
Yeah, I think that's one thing people don't. It's almost like a piece of advice. Nothing improves your art more, I think, than drawing sequential art, because you are drawing essentially the same characters over and over from every different expression, every different position, every different angle, and you just find yourself getting better and better with each page. To the point where, same with me, I've redrawn the first page of comics many times because I get to page 22 and go, holy crap, why wasn't I doing that on page 1? But
that's right.
Until page 22, page 40, whatever it is.
That's right. So I've got to be somewhat more careful if I if I try anything different or deviate from my process.
Quick Nick here actually said something to me a while ago, which, I had this thing that I should go back and fix those first pages to fit the last pages and whatever. And he said that he liked watching a story develop, but also an artist developing like from page 1
Yeah.
through to page whatever.
Yeah.
Like with 2 journeys to watch the characters and also the creators.
That's right. Yes, that's how I sort of look at it as well. It's not just a journey for the characters, but for me as an artist as well.
This is the journey of me stealing your design based on some advice we got last week. So, each do it now.
Quick learner.
Yeah, David, just to put you on the spot, and feel free to just completely just go, I don't know, and pass the question. But just while we've got you and we've got your screen and something, is there a little trick or something, and we may all know it, but viewers may not, or something you do that you find handy in Procreate while drawing that you couldn't live without, you know, when you found out about it?
Oh, yeah, I absolutely love Procreate. The only problem with it is its layer limits, which hopefully in a couple of years they do something about it over at Apple, the good people at Apple.
David, which version of the iPad do you have?
I've got the iPad Pro version. What is this? The Gen 2, I think.
Is that the one with the? Because like if you get, because I had the same limit problem, so I just threw money at it, and I bought the M1 with 16 gigs RAM, and and that'll give you significantly more layers. So anybody wants some Procreate tips, just spend more money on your iPads.
Of course.
What I would say, it was worth it to have those extra layers. I think it about quadrupled the layer limit on the M1.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Good investment.
Yeah, I was specifically the 16 gig ones just for that, and it took them 6 months to finally. So, anyways,
which one is that, Alex?
So that's okay. Apple's not paying me money for it. So.
I was just wondering, is it the iPad Pro? The iPad Pro?
I was going to say, whenever Quick asks what seems like a genuine question, it's always a setup. So just for the good of the show, improv, just play along. Yes, and let him let's make the joke land. It's good for the show. Let's not, even though here I am pooping on the whole process, calling him out.
I think David's about to do something really cool. Can we zoom in on you, David, or would that be too much pressure?
No, it's fine. I actually don't know what I'm doing. I've never actually drawn fire before. So this is all part of the learning process, right?
Yeah.
Looking good, mate. Looking real good.
That's like a watercolor brush or something, is it? Gouache brush.
Gouache.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks
good on you, Pete.
Yeah. Pete,
I want to see some
awesome chat on Chin Wags with Lee Chalker. Tuesday Chin Wags. Lee Chalker. Gone.
Hi, how are you? Sorry.
Right here on ComX Net AU.
Yeah.
Yep, on this channel. So subscribe to the channel so you can see Chinwag, Drink and Draw, maybe more.
David, if you go up the top and click on, there's like a wand thingy or something, you can hit, there's a button called Bloom, and it'll you can bloom that out so that it sort of makes it like flame looking. So if the wand tool, and then there's bloom.
There we go. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then just move your cursor, move it across, and it'll do nothing. So it's a waste of time.
I'll have to. Oh, there we go. I see.
Tips of Rob.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I see. There we go.
Yeah, and it may not be suitable, but sometimes it can, like, if it'll find the light and kind of. Is it bloom that I'm talking about?
Geez, you did a good job on those chains, Dave.
Yeah.
Very time consuming. I was worried I wouldn't get them in during the episode.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Looking real good.
I couldn't. I was thinking about drawing a bike as well, but no way I would have gotten a bike done in 90 minutes.
It's supposed to be 60.
Yeah, say 90.
Yeah, we have a habit of going over time. So we got anything else? I think something else might have popped up.
Yep, someone else popped up. Just sent it through.
Speaking of Ryan Bella earlier.
Speaking of him earlier.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's some Ryan Bella.
very good.
Talk about ink players. There's no one better at just throwing something at the wall and just seeing what comes out. And
Yeah.
it's bloody awesome. And
You
I
can't
asked
lose.
him, he's just like, you just got to be fearless. And I'm like, no, I'm staying scared. I don't know how to do it.
I'd love to see some of his failed fearless attempts where he's just poured too much black ink over it.
Yeah.
But
It
then
strikes
I
me
really
as-
one by slapping a heap of white back on there and it looked fantastic.
Yeah.
He strikes me, looking at some of his stuff, he's very Bill Sienkiewicz type of an approach with just this amazing inks that are just like an explosion on a page. I love that approach. I really do. Because you can see the underlying art. It's great. Love his stuff. He's a light for them.
Good advice, Gary. Works every
Quick, you left
time.
the music on, mate. We're still vibing.
Oh, it's still on.
Is it still on?
Yeah, it's still on.
I can't hear it.
Just use your ears.
You put it up and down?
You must have burnt your ears off. With your
I can't hear it.
It's still just going. Okay, we just got another one in. Oh shit! Sorry, my computer's just running.
We got
Tony Menzies. Got it in time.
Tony Menzies. This is going to be something.
Hey, wow.
Wow.
Back
I
day,
want
Tony. Good on you, mate.
I think that's a higher post I read someplace that's not the American Army.
Nice.
For a
Thanks,
few
Tony.
men.
Good on you, Tony. Well done, mate.
Sorry, my internet crapped out and then it just showed up at the last second. Looks freaking great, Tony. Nice work. We haven't had Tony on in ages. The man with the voice of silk.
Didn't you do one last one? Oh, on the show, yeah. We should be going
On the show, yeah. He sent stuff through, but he doesn't. Yeah.
because he's been sending stuff in.
I'll have to harass him a little bit harder.
What about you, Mr. Chalker? Can we? You got something we could maybe take a look at?
Yeah,
Work in
wow.
progress, or whip, as they say.
Whoa. Hey,
Oh,
well,
nice.
mate. Fantastic. You better ink
That
that.
leak, it's got all the
You-
flames and stuff.
Yeah.
Suits your style.
Yeah. You better ink
Yeah.
that, mate.
Very nice.
That looks
Yeah.
great.
Maybe. No, I just enjoy. Actually, I don't honestly ever recall drawing him as much as I've loved him.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's just been good sitting here chatting and just penciling away to something that, I was provided the opportunity to draw a thing that gave me great pleasure. So thank you.
Yeah, well, turned out really good.
Yeah,
So,
brilliant.
I think it gave me great pleasure.
Sorry, Sid, I believe I cut you off a moment ago. Were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just bringing up art. Kayleen, how are you going?
Hang on, I will share my screen. Let's
Oh,
see.
it's too easy.
I'm not sure if this is going to work. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Very good, Kayleen.
Yeah, great.
That's
Your
quick.
style changed a bit, though.
Very much luck.
No, screen two. Yes.
Here we go.
There we go.
I can't.
Well, nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that is good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
got the change going. Very nice. Very good.
That actually has a little bit of Robbie Reyes helmety sort of look as well.
I have no idea how.
Yeah.
I swapped down some basic shapes and was like, I'm not going to fiddle with it anymore. It looks good.
Awesome.
While we're chatting with you, Kayleen, how does the Blue Star Rebellion go?
Yeah, it's going really good. It's going quite a bit better than I ever actually thought it would ever go.
Congrats.
Nearly at 30,000 people subscribed to read it.
Wow.
Holy moly.
It's one of the
Wow.
sci-fi
Good.
ones.
Good
Platform
golly.
now.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Kayleen. Good on you.
Cheers, thank you. I'm very
That
proud
is
of it.
wicked. Good work.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, people should check out webtoons as well to find some other Aussie artists. Like, not every, I mean, it's good to be print as well, but like, you know, not everybody has the opportunity, and I think it's a good way to kind of be inspired. Just get online and see what people are
Well,
doing.
Spedsy's on Webtoons now. Have you seen him?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
yes.
not
Very
quite at 30,000 yet, but we're well on our way.
You're working on it, mate.
We're working on double digits, I think, but no, it's brand new, so you know.
A lot of work.
But yeah,
in that,
holy
mate.
moly,
You've done a lot.
Kelly, nice work. Good
Yeah.
golly, that's amazing.
Thank you.
They should give you a plaque or something.
We're proud of
I
you.
feel like,
Well, they give me some ad revenue each month, so that's
It's
nice.
better than a plaque.
all right.
Good work.
Yeah, keep the plaques. Yeah.
Well, there's-
Well, Sis, what do you think? Should we take a look at some animation, perhaps?
Yes, definitely. And we've got that right here. Let's go with Alex's animation.
oh man, that's fantastic.
That is an
Look at that.
excellent Nicolas Cage. He's got a scooter.
Yeah,
I didn't notice the scooter.
Who's the girls?
The girls are from an Australian comic called As If. So you guys can take a look. These are
Good on
the
you, mate.
lady characters on there. And I
Can
just
you
kind of
bring
wanted
that
to
up,
highlight,
please?
like, there we go. There you go. A friend of mine from Disney called Amy Mebison did them. There's some of her comics there, a couple of pages.
Is it recent?
No,
Alex?
it's old. It's very old. I just found it. I was looking at for some stuff. It's okay. You can go back to normal. Don't need my but yeah, I just went through some old stuff and I found the comic, and then I was like, oh, Amy, and I just wanted to give her a highlight. Follow her on Instagram to see what she's up to. She's in the States now, and it's just Amy Mebison, AMYMEBBERSON. She's an Aussie artist doing great things in the US. So if anybody feels like being inspired, check her out. And she also used to be published by Tokyo Pop as well. I think she did a comic called Dream Girls, I think, or something. Dream Girl or Dream Girls, something like that. So check her out. And there you go. That's it. So
yeah, good on you, mate.
That's today's Aussie comic thing. Because last time I was just promoting. So today
You
I'm
should
promoting.
be promoting more Australian comics.
Yeah.
Always.
Nah.
Speaking of promoting Australian comics, Rob, you think it's that time?
I think it is, Tiz. Let's do it, mate.
Well, I'm way up the list here.
This poor person is looking through the newspaper for info on what projects our artists have been working on. And this lost individual is using a map to find where she can follow our artists on social media and buy their books. How about we save them the trouble and just tell them? We call this next segment Shameless Self-Promotion.
Well, I'll do my usual ComX.shop where you can get comics from many people in the room here and many people not in the room here. And all for one flat postage rate. So that's ComX.shop. Thank you. Over to you, Spedsy. Oh, can't see you.
My website is psychojanitor.com, where all my stuff is. I'm at Spedsy on all social medias, and this thing just came out 3 weeks-ish ago. I only just got my copy. It's speaking of supporting Australian comics, it's an Australian anthology with lots of cool artists and creators put together by Hayden Spurrell. Well worth a look. It contains 4 pages of me drawing. The first time I've drawn a script, drawn a comic sequential art based on someone else's script. So you can check out Promise, drawn by me and written by Hayden. There's a May in here as well. Not Den May, not Nick May, Bryony May. Check it out. You can find it on Own Indie under Inspire.
It's also in
Or
ComX.shop.
you can go to ComX.shop. Yeah, I'm cutting out, aren't I? Quick.
A little bit.
No, you're not doing too bad.
Fine. Hey, your best. Who's your favourite Australian comic book character?
Well, that'd be it's a tie, but Detective Budgie is well up there.
It's just not working. Here we go.
Here we
You
go.
can do it.
Can't do it.
Wrong button, dude.
Wrong button.
There it is. Look.
Yeah.
Detective.com. That's where you find the good stuff.
Detective
All right. I'll work on my button pressing. Alex Major.
Okay, so just back to pimp the show. Make sure to like, subscribe, and there you go. Like, make sure everybody click the little thumbs up button. I don't think we have a thumbs down button anymore. Don't click on that. Although you can, if you are not gonna, you can click on that because it just helps the algorithm either way.
Please don't.
Sorry.
Please don't.
Especially if it doesn't exist.
Yeah, just click like. Also, just a little bit of a heads up, because I know Daniel loves his Kickstarters. So I'm helping out Morgan Quaid. Did some drawings for him. So look for Enmity on Kickstarter, and I'm helping him out a bit. So make sure every Kickstarter that I've ever been involved with got funded. So people don't. So I want to continue being people's lucky charm on these things. So please do that. And then after you finished your Kickstarter, you're liked, you're subscribed, go on TikTok, Instagram, and Webtoons, and go to look for Sloppy Bunny Tunes. There you go. Champion. Yeah, go there on those things, and then subscribe and like on those two. And then go to David, and he'll pimp his stuff.
You right, Dave?
Yeah, David. Do you know this part of the show where tell people where to go to see your stuff?
Oh, yes. Yeah. If you'd like to look at my current project, Grimshard, visit www.grimshard.com. I'm also on Webtoons, Tapas, and also Global ComX, I think it's called. Global ComX.
Okay, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, so I get another online. Yeah, so grimshard.com. You can Google it. It's there. And there are links there to all my social media accounts as well.
Sweet. Awesome.
Kayleen.
So if you want to read my work, it's called Blue Star Rebellion. If you just type Blue Star Rebellion webtoon into Google, it'll pop right up. I think we're on chapter 32 at this point. I have no idea how many pages that would actually count out to, but it's a decent read for a good couple hours worth of a binge. And yeah, you can find that on Webtoon, Blue Star Rebellion, and you can find me as K-Dreamer, like Daydreamer, only with a K instead, on Twitter and Instagram.
Sweet.
Cool.
Woo. Excellent.
Everybody should go to the to Psycho Janitor to pick up some vamoose. One day there could be a Minty Frisket harmonica book out.
Good.
Look out for Zombie Basketballer from our friends at Silver Fox Comics, and you can find me on Instagram at Chernobyl. But what about you, Lee?
Or as me and Kerry call you, Chernobyl.
I'll take anything to say call me late for dinner.
That's right, mate. Good on you.
ComX shop for Battle for Bustle, battleforbustle.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can find Battle for Bustle on Facebook. Strangely, now you can find me on a Tuesday night here on the ComX network, doing a show called Tuesday Chinwag, where I get to sit here and talk to a whole heap of really cool people and ask them 6 prompting questions, and you never know where these are going to go. And so far, I hope it's okay. So tune in. And other than I'm always around. So over to Mr. Dye.
Thanks, mate. As you know, I've been working on this Beowulf and Grendel story. This one's 24 pages long, so I finished inking that. That's all done, and that's 24 pages. And to me, that's a little bit short of a comic. So I decided to build it up to 32. So I quickly went through and wrote a story and scripted this from the legends there. And I'm in the process now. It was supposed to be 8 pages, but it turned out to be 16. So, and I'm just getting that's all sketched out in blue. You probably can't see it.
I can't really see it.
But anyway, yeah, a bit faint. Anyway, that's what I'm working on right now. The second story in that. And my comics are available in the ComX shop and also on Owner Indie.
Yep.
If you ever get across there. And there's a lot of other artists and creators, Aussie creators there at Owner Indie and at the ComX shop. So if you don't buy my stuff, buy someone else's. Have a look at least. All right, over you, Danny.
Thank God. My latest work's in the latest Ink Spot, the Australian Cartoonists Association magazine. Always working on the Australian Comics database with Gary Challoner. So I urge everyone that's creating anything to please reach out to me or Gaz and let us know what you're working on so we can get some information from you into the database, which is for everyone to use. Other than that, I've got a book coming out later this year, but it's got nothing to do with comic books. We probably don't need to talk about that one. And I'm working on another book which has nothing to talk about. And also working on a book that sort of has something to do with comic books, but not Australian ones. So I'm waiting for the next project to come along. So yeah, I can be found on Twitter, generally abusing politicians, and on Facebook, generally abusing everybody. If you're a bit fragile, please don't.
Daniel, any plans to abuse people on TikTok?
No, because it's funny. We went out for lunch once with our grandniece and her friend, and they were doing funny little things for TikTok. And I went, yeah, and they went, get out of it, you're old. No TikTok for me. Apparently, I'm old, according to my niece Alice. Too old for TikTok.
You get on there, get your 50,000 plus followers, and then prove your niece wrong.
No, because Alice keeps telling me she knows more than I do anyway, and she's smarter than me. So, yeah, old people. She said, old people like you don't belong on TikTok. It's for kids.
We want to see you dancing, mate. Doing one of them.
Oh, I don't think I'm that bad.
Let us be.
I mean, I can still throw shapes with the best of them, but apparently no. Not according to a 6-year-old girl. I'm absolutely hopeless. So there you go.
Awesome. I found one more Ghost Rider action figure. I just remembered it. Found it in a box over there.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and look at these flames on action figures is a hard thing to do. This one's from like the 90s. There's 3 layers of flame there.
Yeah, pretty good.
Versus this technology of parts. Yeah. All right. Well, did we do it, Stiz? Is that the show?
We got one more piece of art.
No, good.
David just sent his through so we can get a better look at it.
Good on you, mate. Fantastic.
Oh,
awesome, David.
Awesome, David.
That's called so good. Actually, all of it is good.
Yeah. That's practiced my fire a bit, I think. But yeah, I'm pleased with it.
Nothing at the end of it.
I was just giving you silly suggestions.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
put the paper texture in there too. So
Wow, that's great. Nice work. Don't be a stranger, David. We'd like to have you back on the show whenever you want.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, definitely come back for another one.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Good.
Now, Spency.
Well, that's our show. That's our show. We will be back next week with more of this. What?
Someone should call the
Let's talk
police. The show has been murdered. But in 1 week we will rebuild it. Better, stronger, faster. In the meantime, head to ComX.shop and powder your chestnuts on a copy of Detective Budgie by Nick Cleary, Amazing Tales by Dave Dye, Vamoose by Nick May, Battle for Bustle by Lee Chalker, Radical by Ed Kearsley, Sluggish by Spedsy, Crimson and Rascal by Peter Wilson, ComX Presents featuring so many of the creators that have appeared on this show. And so much more. Alright Sis, press the button. End the show. Don't make me butter your biscuit. Sizzle, press the button. Sizzle? Sausage